Coming up on the Saint Paul Forum, we'll be having a conversation about the Saint Paul Conservatory for the Performing Arts. That's next on the Saint Paul Forum. Welcome to the Saint Paul Forum. I'm John Forde. With me today are Jana Nyberg and Ellenelle Gilliam of the Saint Paul Conservatory for the Performing Arts. Welcome, you guys.
Hello, thanks for having us.
One of you's a teacher. I'm guessing it's you, Jana.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been teaching there?
This is my second year.
Okay. And how did you get to Minnesota? Were you born here? Did you create the school? What happened?
You're going to be happy to know that I was born in Saint Paul.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Good.
but I've taught, this is my 8th year teaching as a licensed teacher, and I've actually taught in Wisconsin and the Roseville School District when we decided to move back to the Twin Cities. So it's it's a great town. You can't get away from the Twin Cities. They're too good to the arts.
Okay. And now you're principally a music educator, right?
Yep.
Okay. How old were you when that grabbed you by the sternum or wherever it grabbed you and said, this is what you must be?
Believe it or not, I was in middle school and I knew I had to be a band director. I told my parents I wanted to play all the instruments. I believe it was 7th grade.
Wow.
And then they were like, well, you should probably be a band director. And I loved band, so I thought, okay.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And we're here primarily to talk about the organization, the Saint Paul Conservatory for the Performing Arts, which is very, it has lots of niches. It's got, can you name some of them? It's got performing arts, it's got instrumental music, vocal music.
Yeah, basically, Saint Paul Conservatory for Performing Artists is focused on bringing the performing arts into your high school education more than you would get at your average public high school. And so it's a charter arts high school, performance focused, where the students declare an emphasis much as you would with a college major. So there are 5 different performance tracks we have right now. It's theater, musical theater, vocal, instrumental, and, well, jazz along with instrumental, and dance.
Okay.
Yep, so instrumental has a focus right now of orchestral and jazz playing.
And you have brought along one of your star students today, Ellenelle
have.
Gilliam.
Here she is.
And you apparently set the bar so high that no one can follow in your tracks. From what I understand, you have what is essentially, at the high school level, a double major.
Yeah, basically, I'm split track between the instrumental and the vocal tracks. So I am taking all of the courses for both of those because I was far enough ahead in my academics that I was able to balance that. So. Okay.
And when did you know that you wanted to go to SPCA?
I have been performing since I was a little girl, and I knew I wanted to do it kind of around the same time Miss Meckler did. That music was my passion. That's what I wanted to do with my life, and I wanted an environment in a high school that focused on that. And I had friends who went to SPCPA before I got there, but they told me about it. They said, this is a really great school. We're performing constantly. You should come check it out. And I fell in love with it from day one. So.
Great. And day one is at the start of 9th grade?
Ninth grade. Yep, we're 9th through 12th grade.
Okay, wonderful. And you referred to Ms. Meckler, who I've not introduced yet.
Where's that person?
Why don't you explain your 2 names?
Okay, so obviously to Ellenelle and students, I'm Mrs. Meckler because I'm married, but I started performing before I got married, so that's my maiden name, Nyberg, and I'm a jazz pop singer in the Twin Cities here, and so that's the other identity. I have 2, how do you say alias, plural? I don't know.
Alii?
Thank you, I like that, it's very fancy.
Something like that, okay. So tell me more about the school. You fell in love with it from the very beginning. Did you know your peers when you first showed up? Were they from different places?
We pull from, I think, about 15 different school districts throughout Minnesota. Kids come in on the Metro Transit bus. I personally didn't know anybody there because the person I did know graduated before I got there. So I kind of came at this on my own, which I knew it was going to be fine because this is what I wanted to do. But the school and the environment, everyone was just so welcoming. And we have that one passion. Like we all have a drive for our performance and for our art. So we have that connection, and it was really easy to make friends super fast. So it wasn't a problem not knowing anyone.
You have that one passion, but we didn't really quite finish that story before. You have that two passions.
Those
because
two
you
passions.
have two tracks, and they literally declared you to be the last person eligible for that.
Yep.
Because
Complicated.
they want to maintain a focus in one strict discipline area.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I was brought up playing the piano. That was kind of my fundamentals, and then I started playing trumpet and started taking voice lessons and kind of branched on that. So I play trumpet in orchestra. I accompany one of our choirs there, and then I also sing in the choir. So.
And is there travel involved with that? I mean, it sounds like you're already a road musician, like you're professional touring.
The school, we have concerts at our school. SPCPA Jazz Ensemble goes to the Eau Claire Jazz Festival every year in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
We've placed every year for the past 3 years. 2 consecutive years we got first place. I was also able to go as the first jazz vocalist with our jazz combo, and I got the top awards. That was a really, really fun achievement, and it was just a great experience being able to represent our school in such a big event like that.
Now, I would like to know what's really unique about SPCPA.
It's even a long abbreviation.
Yeah.
Yes. I think what's unique about it, and Ellenelle can branch off of this too, is students don't typically have the opportunity to weave their art passion into their day as much as we can provide. So, for example, if you're a dancer, you're pretty much never going to dance during your high school day unless you're doing a square dancing unit, right? So here we have this unique opportunity for students to take ballet, tap dance, hip hop, world dance, more African traditional dance during their school day every day. And so that's the difference. And also we have electives on Fridays where other students who say Ellenelle's an instrumental track but would really like to take a yoga class, her opportunity to do that is on a Friday with electives. And I think just that the students that we find are very driven because they're focused on their art, and they've chosen a school where it's all about that every single day in many more hours of focused work than you would have at any other school. It's a rich experience, and it's very unique because we also have interdisciplinary collaborations where, for example, we brought in an Irish dancer to a project that Ellenelle was on last spring where they learned a song by Cloud Cult, the band called
When Water Comes to Life.
When Water Comes to Life, beautiful tune. And they set it to their instrumentation with cello, piano, violin, etc. And then the dancer provided the rhythm to it. So just really interesting, cool things happening.
How much do the state mandated requirements, the testing requirements, squeeze charter schools so that they can't really fulfill their mission as broadly as staff might like?
I find that it's not as challenging as when I've worked in public schools because we have our standards and we model them off of the state standards, and we have our ideals in place, and then we work toward those standards we have in place. They're set, our curriculum is designed to those standards, but it's honestly not as testing focused. We test like any school, and there are many tests, as you know, but it doesn't feel as standard driven in the state way, if that makes sense. We have just a little more freedom being a charter school than what I've experienced at public. I see the positives to both, but we absolutely maintain standards and gear our curriculum toward that. We're just more able to focus on the arts, I would say, and not have to think so much about the bubble sheet. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Ellenelle, what do you want to do when you get out of school?
I actually just finished up my run of college auditions, and I'm planning on going into music education for vocal music ed with a Spanish minor. And I eventually, when I graduate from college, I haven't picked a college yet, I want to travel, and I want to take that possibly to an immersion school so I can use Spanish to kind of branch the 2 different cultures through music. So that's my eventual goal.
Okay. Now, you have blessed our enormous crew of 4 here with a performance before we started.
Yes, I did.
And we're going to roll that in a minute here. What can you tell us about this song? You want to introduce the song?
The song that I sang for everyone today was called Love's Philosophy by Roger Quilter. It's a really beautiful, beautiful love song. It basically just expresses how the world just moves around and is full of love, and how this love can't exist unless this one person is with their significant other. I did this song for one of my college auditions, and it makes you smile. It's just so light and flowy, and it's just a great song to listen
Wonderful.
to.
Well, we'll listen to it now.
The fountains mingle with the rivers, and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with this sweet emotion. Nothing in the world is single, all things by a law divine, in one another's being mingled. Why not I with thine, not I with thine? See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth? If thou kiss not me.
We've been listening to Love's Philosophy, sung by Ellenelle Gilliam of the Saint Paul Conservatory for the Performing Arts. Also with me today is Jana Nyberg, a teacher at the school. That is just magnificent. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it comes right back to school again. How often do you hear the word philosophy in a song title?
Not very often, to be honest.
But nonetheless, the school itself covers a full range of academic topics.
It does. We have all of your core subjects, as any other high school would. And then the interesting and unique, wonderful thing about us is that the arts are sprinkled into every single school day.
Okay. And I'm supposed to ask about J-term, because is it unique, or is there something special that happened in a J-term?
Nope, it's ridiculously unique.
Okay.
J-term is usually just a college-type experience.
That means January, right?
January
J stands for
term. Yep,
Okay.
January term. So for 13 days in the month of January, so we have about 2-week time span, there are approximately 20 different projects that SPCPA puts on. So we don't have any academics during those 2 weeks. It's simply the rehearsals for 6 to 8 hours every single day for our shows. There's dance pieces, theater pieces, there's instrumental project, there's operas, there's musicals, there's theater performances. It's just a wide variety of everything, and we take those shows, the students, some of them are writing their own music, some of them are writing their own scripts for the plays. We have 13 days to put that together with the directors from our school and then outside directors that come in, and then we perform them all in one weekend throughout Twin Cities, so Saint Paul and Minneapolis. And it's such a great experience being able to realize how fast things actually move in the real world.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a very professional experience during J-term.
Absolutely.
100% geared toward the actual professional experience for our students, because we want them to know what that feels like, especially since many, if not all, of them intend to go into performance careers. And so branching off of that, I directed a J-term project this year, and it was extremely fun. We had 2 other teachers involved and an accompanist, a student combo of about 5 students, an orchestra of about 35 in a pit. We performed at Hamlin's and Simley Theater, and it was a show choir with full orchestra accompaniment, as well as the student combo at times, performing with 55 singers, so almost 100 students involved. Catherine Gore is a vocal teacher at our school. Nicholas Gaudet was conducting the orchestra, and the accompanist, of course. It was a huge production, and I can't believe we pulled it off in 2 weeks. Fantastic. Everything from an Andrew Lloyd Webber medley to, we even did Time Warp from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Surprising for high school, I know. Very, very fun. And then in the midst of all that, we try to see as many performances as we can, even as directors. And so I saw Chicago, which was at the Southern Theater, and actually won some awards this year and had a full student combo that won awards for the jazz. I saw, Romeo and Juliet at the Ritz, and I was able to see Ellenelle show, which she can tell you about.
This year I had the privilege of being in The Devil and Daniel Webster, which is a comedic opera basically. I was Mary Stone, which is the lead female role. I was in an opera last year, but I didn't have a lead part, so this year having all of the lines and all of the music to memorize to the more extreme extent, it was a lot of work, but Mr. Herfindahl, our director there and the vocal arts department chair at our school, he was super supportive the whole time, and he sang at the Metropolitan Opera and so many other venues around the country and around the world, so he has a great amount of background experience, and Miss Gore and Miss Meckler were able to take what they know and what they've performed in their lives and gear it into what they're teaching us and trying to help us get down for the shows, and just the collaboration between the students and the teachers during J term is just, it's unlike anything you'll ever see in a normal high school.
Now, it sounds like one of the real advantages the school has is that so much of the faculty are themselves professional performers.
That's true. Yep. Especially, well, if they teach in the arts, they are expected to be a professional performer.
Okay. And now, what's it like for you to balance those two things as you're performing on one side? And I think we should get right into it. You were on American Idol.
Yeah, there is that. I find it difficult, but also what fuels my passion, the difficulty to balance both worlds, because I think that our students are inspired by knowing that we are professional performers. And so actually I've had a lot of students come out to shows. My group is called the Jana Nyberg group, and we perform jazz, pop, kind of a mix. I think music is music, so we blur the lines between genres a lot, but have our foundation in the standards, Great American Songbook. And, you know, when we perform at the Dakota, I have students who stay till the end of the show at 10:30 on a school night. And that's just really fun to see. And then we come and think about coffee the next morning and look at each other like this.
Yeah.
But, you know, it does have its challenges because the schedules are so polar opposite. Sometimes, especially in the jazz world, you're up till 1, but you're getting up at 6. And the performance is very emotionally draining, which is also the beautiful thing about it. So I think the students, I do think you appreciate having performing teachers, right?
Absolutely. I go to see her shows whenever I can, and it's
That's true.
it's so fun just seeing your teachers up there and like seeing what they do outside of school, because you know all students kind of wonder, what does my teacher do when he's not standing in front of me? And
Exactly.
it's just a blast seeing her up there, and I've gotten to see so many of my other teachers perform too, and it really is driving and inspirational to see that they've accomplished this and they're teaching us. Well, then why can't I do that someday?
And you can.
And I can.
The American Idol thing, do you really want to know?
I was just going to say there are 4 things you can do with a question. You could, if you don't answer it, you can gloss it, postpone it, rephrase it, or dodge it completely. And you didn't answer my question, and it's not really clear to me. Maybe I just didn't ask forcefully enough, but give us the salacious details.
It's it kind of happened by accident. My students, when I was teaching in Green Bay, it was a K-8 school, and I did all the music and band, and they always were like, Miss Nyberg at the time, you should audition for American Idol. I always laughed it off. My cousins always wanted me to as well. My band was on tour one summer. We were going through Milwaukee after having just played a wedding and have a gig the next day, and we found out that Idol auditions were in Milwaukee. It was for season 10. And so we decided to drive an hour up to Milwaukee from where we were, wait in a line all night. Degrading, I'm telling you. I did actually sleep on the sidewalk in Milwaukee, but for 1 hour. It was very bad. Register, and then it continues the next few days with the whole cycle of auditions you wouldn't even know happen. First being at an arena full of 1,000+ people, and then slimming it down to 200 or so with multiple rounds in the next few days. And then when you finally see your Idol judges, you're to round 4 already. So I did meet them and sing for them actually twice. Steven Tyler kissed me on the cheek. It's actually rather frightening. Nothing exciting about it. I met Jennifer Lopez. She's lovely. They're all very kind people. And I did go out to Hollywood Week. And actually, I ended my journey in Hollywood Week, but that was okay. Because it was really intense. It's way more difficult than you would ever know. So
It must have been wildly exciting.
it was very exciting. And I thought I'm just going to ride this out till it's over, you know?
And your students must ask you about it almost all the time.
They do, but if we can keep it a secret, then they don't ask.
Okay, well, let's not talk about it on
The
television
secret's
then.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
Now, tell me about the wind ensemble that's forming this spring.
Yeah, okay, so most high schools have a band, and what makes us unique is actually that we didn't just yet and have a focus on full orchestra, which is a symphonic orchestra experience, which does incorporate winds, percussion, strings. But this year we had the opportunity, I presented, hey, what if we try a wind ensemble, see how it goes over, and perhaps integrate it into our curriculum. And so far it's going so well, and we're only playing one time a week because the curriculum, the schedule with all of our different rehearsing groups would definitely need to be kind of juggled a little bit to make it work, but obviously it does because every high school has band. And so it's been really exciting because it will fuel our jazz program with personnel. As you know, we need trumpets and saxes and all kinds of things. And fuel the full orchestra personnel. And I think do wonderful things for our school. So I'm happy it's being so well received by the students in the community.
Now, Ellenelle, I hate to ask you this with your double track, but are you doing things that are extracurricular as well?
Yeah, I have private lessons once a week. I am in 3 different choirs outside of my school choirs that I'm in. I volunteer at my church a lot in North St. Paul and then help out the younger kids at my brother's school with homework and stuff. So
Wow.
I don't stay up as late as Miss Meckler does, but my day is about as packed.
Okay.
I think you also accompany, is that correct?
Yep, I accompany 2 of the choirs I'm with outside of school. I accompany as well. So
Basically, she's really lazy,
Okay.
which is
yes.
why we chose her for this.
I don't do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Good. So, Jana, tell us about your professional group. You tour, and you toured Wisconsin.
Yep, this is our 8th year as a group, and we have 2 albums out. One self-titled debut, and then the second one is called Fever. And the third we're working on right now is Winter Songs to be released next fall. So we'll be in the studio end of March, early April, and that's really exciting. In the meantime, there's a lot of shows happening. We did get our start in Wisconsin because that's where we lived at the time. And that group, we return every summer, the Jana Nyberg group, as it's called, to Door County, where we got our start playing in the summers. Now we go back on tours. But our tours have gotten bigger. We hope to get to the East Coast and eventually Europe sooner than later. And our most recent tours have been to Lincoln, Nebraska, St. Louis, Missouri, Chicago, Illinois, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That actually was a loop almost in that exact order. So a lot of driving, a lot of time with me and 4 guys kind of losing our minds, getting stir crazy in a rented van.
A rented van.
Yep, but we have a blast, and we love what we do, and there's really good camaraderie, and some of the best players in the Twin Cities. I guess I should tell you who they are. So Adam
Yes.
Meckler is on trumpet, and that's my husband. He also does backup vocals.
He's Mr. Meckler.
Mr. Meckler. Evan Montgomery plays guitar and also does backup vocals. We have a rotating bass chair. It's been Matt Peterson most of the time, but also Brian Courage and Graydon Peterson sometimes. So also rotating drum chair. My brother, Jake Nyberg. Greg Schutte, who right now is touring with Mickey Hart, which is great, and he's loving it. And another drummer, Zach Schmidt. So because everybody's so busy gigging, we have a rotating, we call it the JNG family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And so they're all roadies, technically.
Oh, yeah, no. But we play Hell's Kitchen and the Dakota and Artist Quarter, right, nearby here, and all kinds of places, and it's really rewarding and wonderful.
Okay. We have just a couple of minutes left, but I want to ask you, if you could give one piece of advice to America's leaders regarding education, what would it be?
Do you want to start?
I'll let you're the teacher.
Okay. For me, it's that the arts make a culture so rich. And it's what makes a culture unique. And, jazz is America's only truly original art form. It was born here, it's ours. If we strip education of these things, it's going to be much less rich. We're already seeing the difference between us and Europe. So I think it should be more incorporated into curriculum instead of constantly cut.
Yes. Yeah.
No,
Well,
I agree with that completely. I think it's just such a big part of high school in general. Like everyone plays in band or orchestra or does choir at some point in their life, whether it's for church or school. And I just feel like it's such an important value. Like I know I couldn't live without it, and I don't think anybody at SPCPA could either. And I don't think that should be taken away, especially from younger kids, because that's oftentimes where the passion starts at, is in middle school or grade school, where you realize that that's what you want to do. And so the question that was prompted to me when I said I want to do music ed is why that job's going away really, really fast. And I said, well, then why can't I be the one to make a change and make that stop? So I'm hoping it doesn't go away.
Okay, good. Well, thank you both for being here. The Saint Paul Conservatory for the Performing Arts so enriches our community. I've been speaking with Jana Nyberg, AKA Ms. Meckler, and Ellenelle Gilliam of the Saint Paul Conservatory for the Performing Arts. That's all the time we have this week on the St. Paul Forum. We'll see you again next week.